Hi, I'm Tom Ziegler, CEO of Ziegler Inc. And in sales and as a small business owner, you've really got to be on your game in sales. In fact, you want to have that edge. You want to have that unique thing that sets you apart. And I want to share with you one of the most unique stories I've ever heard. A guy by the name of Mike Ingram, a good friend of the Ziegler family, back in the 70s, he started a new company. In fact, as a small business owner, he went into business. And what he did is he sold rat bait. Now, I know that doesn't sound exciting, but he thought that in Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana and Arkansas, that was a perfect opportunity to sell rat bait all over that area of the country. Now, his marketplace, who he sold to, were in the United States what we call feed and seed stores. This is where the farmers and the ranchers go to get all the equipment and the gear to raise livestock, to take care of their animals, and so forth. So as you can imagine, in that setting, there's a lot of rats that go around. So he would walk into the feed and seed store, and his job as a small business owner, as the only salesperson for his small business, was to go in and find the owner of this feed and seed store and sell him rat bait. Well, I don't know about you, but the problem with rat bait is this. It works, and the rat really don't care. So why would they carry his rat bait versus the competitor's rat bait? Well, here's what Mike discovered is he would walk into the store and he would have his bag of rat bait, the big boxes, the farm or ranch size version that they would put out by the barns or where the livestock lived. He'd walk in and he'd try to get the owner's attention there at the feed and seed. And every time, he said it was like magic, the owner would suddenly disappear. In fact, he would spend a lot of time just waiting at the front, hoping somebody would come to talk to him. Well, he realized that his marketing strategy and his sales strategy wasn't a good one. So he had to come up with a unique way of how to sell his rat bait. Now, the interesting thing is corporate, or the company that he was buying his material from, had come out with a program. And the program was this. You buy 6 of the big rat baits, and then you buy 6 of the little household size rat baits for resale. And as a bonus, you would get 3 industrial size rat baits and 3 household size rat baits as a bonus. You'd get that for free. So even though Mike had that bonus to entice the business owner to carry his product, it just wasn't working. So he went home and he said, you know what? What is it that I could do that would be unique and different, that would get the attention of the feed and seed owner, that would allow me to have the conversation with them so they would carry my product line? Well, he came up with this idea. He said, you know what? I'm spending a little over $20, remember this is 1970s, on the bonus rat bait that he was giving away as part of his premium package. He said, I wonder what else I could offer for $20. Well, in the United States, as you know, the Old West is pretty prevalent and nowhere more so than Texas and Oklahoma. And he thought, you know what? You just can't have too many 22 rifles, 22 caliber rifles. And if you've ever seen an old John Wayne movie where the cowboy's going down and he's got that Winchester with the lever action, well, they used to make a 22 rifle that looked just like that. And so Mike made the appropriate calls. He called the manufacturer of the gun and he said, I have this idea, I want to sell something and I want to give your 22 away. He found out that the cost of giving that 22 away was about the same cost as he had in giving the free rat bait away. So he tried a strategy out. This is what he did. He'd walk into the feed and seed store and he'd have his rat bait right here, the big packaging, kill 1,000 rats or whatever. And over his other shoulder right here, he had his 22 rifle, just right over his shoulder. And he'd walk into the store. Well, that feed and seed store owner, that cowboy, if you will, looked up and he saw somebody walk in with a 22 rifle. And the first question he had on his mind is, I wonder who they are and why they're here. I'm going to go find out. So Mike would have a discussion with him and he'd say, here's the plan. If you'll just try out my rat bait, put it right here on your shelf next to your existing product and see how your customers like it. In fact, I'm going to sell it to you at wholesale, so you'll make a profit when you sell it. But if you will buy this introductory lot just to test it out, I will give you this 22 rifle for free. Well, they couldn't believe it. They were like, you know what? That's the same rifle they have down at the hardware store for $75. You're just going to give that to me for free? Well, Mike had done a great job getting a great wholesale rate on that rifle. Here's what happened. Every feed and seed store he went into over the next year ended up taking him up on that offer. In fact, in the United States, we have a government agency called Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And a year after he started this program, he got investigated by the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau because he had moved over 1,322 rifles. You see, he had something unique that grabbed their attention. Every time he walked in, he made a name for himself. They identified him as the rifleman. Well, as you know, you can't do the same thing forever. So the next year, he's running his program again. And this time it's based on volume. How many rat baits can we get each store to sell? Of course, that happens on the initial order a lot of times. So he would walk into the store, and the owner from the back of the room would say, "Hey, it's the rifleman. What do you got to offer us this year?" So Mike would walk up, and his first question the second year was this: do you like calf skin, lizard, or ostrich? You see, Mike had gone and he'd made a deal with Justin Boots, a famous boot manufacturer in the United States. And he said, you know, if you buy this much rat bait to put on your shelves, you get the leather boots. And if you buy a little bit more, you get the lizard boots. And if you buy this big one, you get the ostrich. You see, the only decision that owner had to make was, what kind of boots did he want to have? The next year, he did resist all hats. And the question was, do you want a really nice straw hat? Or do you want a beaver hat? Or do you want the top of the line beaver? Same program. Now, as a small business owner in your own business, I challenge you to think of what can make you unique. You see, your goal is not to have a solution out there that solves the problem of a client. That's a great goal. But your real goal is to have a unique solution that sets you apart from everybody else, that only you can fulfill. And when you figure that one out, the rest of organizing your business and increasing sales goes so much easier. So now as you sit back and you think about what can I do to increase my sales or my marketing, ask yourself that question. What's the rifle that my business needs? How can I take my business to the next level by combining my great product or service along with a unique solution or a unique offer? I'm Tom Ziegler. I hope to see many of you real soon as we come to Australia at the end of November and the beginning of December.